Please join me in welcoming Mr. Andy Crestodina.
Honored to be here, excited. I love to teach, so this will be fun for me. I hope it's useful for you. This computer normally just really doesn't like clickers, so if this works, I'm happy. I'm going to keep. No, look at that. We clicked once. It almost does that. So I'm going to use it as the laser cat toy. If that works, great. We might use it for that. But I'm going to stand over here because this is how I can reach it. I don't know why it does that, so you don't care where I'm standing, right?
I don't.
That's the difference. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, so this is a presentation about how to get, how to combine search and social media with interconnected content to get way, way better results than your competitors, to get way better results than you would have gotten otherwise. I want to show you how to be in the top 1% of marketers to do something that very, very few people will do. Realistically, probably not many of you even hearing this today will go out and try all these things or combine them all. But those of you that do, I'm very excited for you because you're going to get some serious results, some measurable results that you'll see in your analytics. So, anyone that has access to analytics has probably noticed this sooner or later, that there is a small percentage of pages that get most of the traffic. They always look like this, right? Analytics accounts always look like this. There's always like a few pages that get most of the visits. And it's like one of these, these are everywhere in marketing, one of those curves, like an exponential curve, where a small percentage of pages just get a lot, are traffic magnets, they're traffic champions, they pull people toward the website. The reason is usually that these pages are promoted and do well if you look at a specific piece of content, it looks like this. They get a spike from email, they get a little bit of a tail from social media, and they get a very long tail from search. These are the pages that rank. These are the pages that Google loves. These are the pages that people are finding every day, months, weeks later, finding every day through search. Very, very common. So I'm going to go through how to make this happen more often for you in your marketing, how to build more traffic magnets, how to create traffic champions that just bring people to you, that have amazing brand and awareness benefits, and have really powerful benefits on the bottom line, which is about conversions, leads and newsletter subscribers for most of you. So if you've noticed that if you look at just your social traffic, it probably looks like this. It's like a very chaotic line. There's a lot of ups and downs. Hard to predict. I have no idea what's going to go viral tomorrow. I'm not sure there is such a thing as viral marketing. That kind of seems like it's like lightning in a bottle. Who knows? It's very hard to. People are just chaotic by nature, and what people decide to like and share and engage with is hard to predict. So social is a lot of ups and downs, but consistent over time, and there's many benefits to social, some of which I'll talk about that are very durable. Email. It's like a heartbeat. It's like a spike. Every time you send a newsletter or email, you're going to see that spike in traffic. Search tends to be that long, slow line or curve upward, irresistible, super powerful. This is what I want to focus on a little bit today. How to get that. This is a longer date range, by the way. That goes back to 2008. Social and email, those are shorter date ranges. Also, how to make this happen. This is a comic by XKCD. You guys know that guy? Randy Monroe? Awesome. It's a web comic. I'm a huge fan. He says, this is the problem with Wikipedia. I go to learn about the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. 3 hours of fascinating clicking later, I'm reading about William Howard Taft and 24-hour analog dial and Batman. Like, yeah. Why do people dig deeper into websites? It's because the content is interconnected. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be connecting content. Also, social influence is about interconnectedness. These people, these accounts that are super influential, they have followers who are interested in that topic. So I want to encourage you guys to build up hubs of content on topics. And of course, this is what it looks like over time when you track the ranking of a specific article. Google Analytics does not track rank over time, but Moz does. This other tool. This is a paid tool that does, and this is what it looks like when you track a keyword that's performing well, and it goes from between below that line, below number 10 would be page 2. You've heard the old joke: where's the best place to hide a dead body? Page 2 of Google. We want to move from page 2 to page 1, so this is how we move from page 2 to page 1 and climb up page 1 and make it to the top 3 or something like that. So the point is to do this. It's to not be like most bloggers. It's to not be like most content marketers or most brands that wake up in the morning and think, what am I interested in today? What should I write about? What do I feel like writing myself? Where does my whim and fancy take me? And they end up writing just scattered content on different topics all over the place based on what they felt they wanted to write at that time. What great marketers do is they build up a bigger body of work over time, right? Why is Hawaii visible? It's because there's a lot of stuff underneath it. That's what we can do as content marketers, is to create interconnected hubs where the content is supporting each other, supporting itself, and building up to become much more visible. This is sort of like the Pacific Ocean surface for Hawaii, or that page 2, number 10 line in ranking in Google. You get the idea. Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. First, we're going to create topics and structure. The basic function, and I'm going to do dogs, I could do anything, it doesn't matter. This is relevant for any industry, any topic. What we want to do is to build up a central hub of content supported by other subtopics, and then we're going to build up this giant body of work around it. And this is like looking down on the top of that mountain, and that supportive base of all the tangent-related topics, all that other good stuff. We're going to do dogs. Ready? Search for Google. Search for a question word in Google plus a topic word, and you're going to see a list of things that Google wants to help you find. And you're a searcher, so you want to find those things, right? Nope, we are content marketers. These are a list of topics we can write for tomorrow and rank for next week. This is an endless, bottomless well of all these topics that we can become relevant for. Why do dogs attack? Age faster, age so fast, attack cats. So if you type in the next letter of the alphabet, A, I typed in there, B, C, you'll see more and more topics, right? We can build up that body of work on these related topics. That is very boring to type in the next letter of the alphabet 26 times. So we're going to go to a tool called keywordtool.io, which scrapes all of these suggestions out of Google and puts them all on one page. There are 445 of them. Why do dogs have whiskers? Why do dogs eat their poop? I still wonder. Why do dogs wag their tail, tilt their heads, eat cat poop? We're gonna drill down, be more specific on that of a comment. Why do dogs' ears go back? Why do dogs chase their tails? Why do dogs age? All of these different things are things that we could write about. Keywordtool.io is very powerful. And then we can build up that content. We're going to build a hub of content on this kind of, with things that are maybe high level, list posts, 10 things you want to know about dogs, right? And then a few of those we can go deeper on and write the more detailed post with a little more explanation on that topic. And so these maybe we can go even deeper on and write the really long, more detailed, very detailed post that answers the question and covers the topic from every angle. Examples, 10 travel tips for dogs. You can imagine that gets shared. You can imagine who'd want that. You can imagine how that might get traction in social, how it would be scannable, how it would have a high click-through rate. It's a list post, right? It's got a number, indicates to visitors that's something they can scan through. Hotels might be one of these topics. Hotels and dogs, a canine guide for staying. Well, this mentions you got to keep your dog from barking, and so it's going to go very deep on this topic. Why do dogs bark at night? This one's going to work great in search. This one's going to work great in social. You get the ideas. I'm going to build up a body of work that is all related to itself. Now, that's the cutest dog on the internet, on the left. If it is a dog, that's like a genetically engineered stuffed animal. But my point here is that you can write every article from two perspectives. The one on the left is the positive perspective. Hobby training. 5 best practices for a good boy. This is the same article from the other angle. 5 dog training mistakes that will get you bit. It's the evil twin. You can write each article twice and pitch these as guest posts. I'm going to show you later how to write these things for other places. We can't just write on one site. We're going to write these for other places. And this is an example of how you can quickly, ethically spin, create content for more than one audience, create content for different places, create content very efficiently. Those were topics. Number 2, I'm going to do 5 things. Number 2 is about related keywords. So when we built up a hub of content, we've got our primary key phrase here. Oftentimes it's a value-related, money-related phrase. Then we've got our subtopics out here and the really more distant subtopics. So on a website, if it's your entire information architecture or sitemap, whatever you call it, these will be the most difficult to rank for phrases. These will be the also competitive phrases. And around that is all the tertiary or subtopics. There's really 2 kinds of phrases people search for. You can say people look for dollar signs and people look for question marks. Actually, there's 3 kinds of phrases people search for according to research. And go look at your browsing history. This is absolutely true. People look for places. I want to look for the Chicago Cubs, ESPN, Wikipedia, whatever. People search, they want to go somewhere. But everything else that people, that's 10%. The other 10% is people that know what they want. They want to find a, whatever, German Shepherd puppy. They know what they want. The other ones, the other 80% of searches are all these informational, research-related phrases. It's the vast majority of searches. People who are trying to get more information on a topic. Question marks, dollar signs, and the brand-related search. SEO is not about that third topic, right? We all should rank number 1 for our brand. SEO is about ranking for non-branded key phrases. Make sense?
Yes.
So here's how it works on with your audience. So there's really two kinds of visitors to websites. Transactional visitors who have the presumed solution in mind and they know what they want to buy, they got their wallet out, they're ready to become a lead. Other people are just research related, they're trying to learn more they're trying to make a good buying decision. They're trying to learn more, right? So this is 80% of the 8 times as many searches for these question mark phrases, and then these people who are very targeted for the more specific primary key phrase, which means that websites have 2 kinds of pages. There are the pages that show the product or service designed to convert visitors into leads and customers, or there's that mini version of Wikipedia for your industry. This is it. These are the pages that are designed to get emailed out, to get shared, and to rank. Those are the 3 main channels for content marketing: search, social, and email. These are designed to attract that audience and to get a big body of work. The reality is that you'll never rank for the Chicago hug adoption, whatever the money phrase is, the most valuable phrase that people will become a lead for, unless you also have this big body of work. If you want the fortune, you've got to have the glory. You need to grow a big brand awareness, giant email list, large social followings, and a lot of domain authority. We'll talk about it in a minute. If you want to also get these very targeted visitors. This is the brochure. That's all it is. And a website without a pulse, without content, without a blog, is just an online brochure. So this explains how you have really 2 kinds of pages, 2 kinds of visitors, 2 kinds of key phrases, and 2 kinds of conversions. These people might subscribe and become, or these people might convert and become a lead. These people might give you traction, I said, in email, in social, and in search. Only a tiny % of them, but some of these people will subscribe, making email more powerful, will follow, making social more powerful, or link, making you rank higher, increasing the ranking likelihood of everything on your domain. Make sense?
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, please.
When you talk about the top portion there, your brochure and then your content, are you talking through all this as though it lives on the same domain, or could it be? Because I know our organization is really laden in that some, and have our we have our kind of storytelling site, we have our homepage, which is more of a brochure.
I am absolutely recommending that these all be on the same domain. Partly because you have easier cross-sell, upsell, referral traffic opportunities. These people might actually click through here with 0 visual friction and they're already on the same site. The topics, the internal linking is very simple and obvious. But the main benefit is that if somebody links to your article about your hotel guide for dogs, because you have a big network of dog trainers and bloggers, that link improves the domain authority of whatever site they linked to. If you have 2 sites, you miss out on this huge SEO opportunity, which I'll explain in detail. Why it makes a huge difference to build up authority of one domain rather than having separate websites.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just heard the emerging trend of keeping them separate in the argument, so I was just curious to
No.
Yeah.
I would love to disagree them with the notion.
Yeah.
Let me talk to them, I'll talk them out of it. Never build it. And I make a living selling websites. And I'm telling you, never build a separate website.
Well, what if you have like a parent organization website, and then you have local offices?
I would still, in that case, there are examples where I could make the case that there are separate domains that make sense. But in that case, I would still have one website probably.
Well, but then maybe just the local offices come off of the main website, like we have export.gov/California.
That's one domain though, correct.
It's still one domain?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's a directory. Something.website.com is a subdomain.
Okay.
Website slash something is a directory. Both of those are on the same domain.
Okay, so that's good.
That's fine. Yeah, no downside at all. That would be my ideal. URL best practices and domain name strategy is an interesting topic that in presentations people really want to go deep on that. I'm going to make a whole presentation about domain strategy someday and share it with you guys. Okay, so here's my timeout. I'm going to go, good segue. This is why sites rank in Google. This will be on the test. Memorize this. We're going to do the math. I don't know what that means either. No idea. But one thing you can tell is that these are pages and that these are links. And this is Google's first innovation. It's their greatest innovation. It is why they made $22 billion in ad revenue in the last quarter. Like, stupid money, right? Largest advertising company in the world, no doubt. Super powerful. Giant, they're building cars that drive themselves to the moon and whatever else. Because of this. Because their search results are so relevant that they dominated. They have such a large market share in the search market that everyone uses them, right? I mean, everyone uses them. They have such a large percentage of the search market that they don't even talk about it. They don't want to alert the government and antitrust lawyers to the fact that they have like between 85 and 90% of all searches happen on Google. It's ridiculous. But this is why the results are so good, is because whether or not something is credible is not about that thing itself. It's about it. Do other things link to it? Links, blue text, underlined blue text, hyperlinks, href equals. I'm talking about basic links. That's how Google works. I'll break it down. Google is the mean girl from high school. You can get her to like you, but you got to get everyone else to like you first. This kid is talking about that kid, makes this kid more credible. The one thing you can't say, or that you can say but will never work, is trust me. Actually, we have a presidential candidate that says this every third sentence. Believe me, believe me. Sounds a little disingenuous to me after a while. Definitely, this is why people are credible. That's why people believe others, right? It's because someone else believes them. That's how credibility works, right? Third-party endorsement. Links on the internet from one page to another page. By the way, these are not websites. These are web pages. Google does not rank websites. Google has never ranked a website. Google only ranks web pages. It's the URL that is the unit of currency on the internet. If you want, I can share the research. There's tons of research that supports this. In fact, I have a video, everyone has it, it's on YouTube, where they asked Google, hey, could you make a search engine that didn't pay attention to links? They said, nope. That's it. That's relevance. That's how relevance works. Okay, lots of kids talk about you in high school. It gives you a big head because quantity matters. But you got to get a lot of the nerds from my lunchroom table to talk about you to give you the same amount of credibility as when the homecoming queen likes you. That gives you a lot of credibility. That's why this is a bigger era. That's why in search, super authoritative websites, PR websites, media hits, famous bloggers, influencer marketing, that's why that's so powerful. That's why PR people are almost great at SEO. If they just understood the value of links and never missed an opportunity to have that website linked back to them. So in reality, and I'll go into more detail, a link from a site, let's call it 1 to 100, the amount of credibility a website has. It actually is a metric. It's a real thing. It's called domain authority. The amount of domain authority a website has on a scale of 1 to 100, if one site with a domain authority 80 links to you, it's probably worth 8 links from sites with domain authority in the 70s. It's an exponential curve. There's only a dozen or so websites that have domain authority of 100 on the entire internet. Anybody who builds a website, within a month, your domain authority is like 12. That's the baby. That's when you start. Very easy to go from 12 to 25. Very, very slow. I'm a 67 right now in my domain. I might never get to 70. The only sites in the 80s use like daily blogs. Sites in the 90s use like major publications. Right? The exponential curve. Here's a finer point. If a site links to many other sites, the value of each link is divided by the number of links. Homecoming Queen has 100 points of credibility. She links to 3 sites. They each get 33 points. The ideal links to your site are from super credible websites, authoritative pages, and they don't have many outgoing links from them themselves. How great is that? Now you understand half of SEO. That's authority. The other half is relevance, using phrases on pages. But that is a huge part of it. You can measure yourself. Domain authority, by the way, is a proxy metric. The real metric was in Google. It was called PageRank. Capital P, capital R. Not page like web page. Page like Larry Page, the Google co-founder who came up with this idea. In my mind, he's like sleeping in his mom's basement in Michigan, and he wakes up with this great idea and goes and writes a paper at Stanford, and now he makes $22 billion every 3 months. Pretty impressive. So, put in a website in Open Site Explorer. PageRank, by the way, is no longer visible to us because Google doesn't update the toolbar that used to show it. It was a scale of 1 to 10. Everybody was obsessed with like, oh, that's a PR6 website, that's a PR4 website. Now you don't get that data at all. So Moz, which is a marketing company, an online tool, built a proxy metric called domain authority with a scale of 1 to 100. So you put in any website and it shows you the overall domain authority, 61 in this case, that was an old screenshot. It shows you the authority of a specific page, which in that case is the home page, 68. And it has that authority because the number of websites, root domains that link to it, and that's the quantity, and the quality of websites that link to it. This is the domain authority of all the sites that link to it. That's how to measure domain authority. That tool costs $100 a month right now. Here's a way to get that, but you can still use this version a couple times a day, I think, for free. Here's a way to get it for free forever. Install a tool called the Mozbar. M-O-Z-B-A-R, named after Moz. And it's brilliant because it overlays into Google search results the domain authority and page authority of every site that ranks. And you can see it's a major, it's not the only one, but it's a major search ranking factor. The authority of these pages, 68, 47, 51, 45, 45. Now you understand how to evaluate competition. Choose a different phrase, a more specific, a longer, less popular, but more specific phrase. 28, 34, 51, 53, 24. The average of all those numbers, of the high and the low numbers on a search results page, is the relative competition. If your domain authority is in the same range as the authority of the other sites that rank for the phrase, you've got a chance. Just to make that totally clear. If your domain authority is in the same range as the other pages that rank for that phrase, you've got a chance. Don't ever bother to target a phrase if you don't have a domain authority in the same range as the other high-ranking pages. Make sense? I know people who call themselves SEOs that don't know what you know right now. That is a fundamental thing that a lot of marketers just totally miss out on. They think they should sprinkle keywords everywhere, or they don't know what their their likelihood of ranking is, their authority. I'm going to give you an example. Oh, so that one was a 25. This is a tool. This is only in the paid tool, but all it's doing is averaging the other high-ranking pages to give me this number, the difficulty for that phrase. So here's the takeaway. If your authority is greater than the keyword difficulty, you've got a chance. Here's a specific example. I don't know who these people are. It's a beer site, so that's fun. The Chicago Beer Experience. This page has a certain amount of authority. Let's look it up. It's a 37. That's our likelihood of rank. Now, people joke because I don't really know much about sports, although I'm watching a lot of sports lately. If you're a team that could score 37 sports points, what sport should you play? Football's a good game. Yeah. Baseball, you're going to win every baseball game with 37 sports points. They don't call them that though in baseball. Runs, they're called runs in baseball. Yes. Basketball, you're going to lose every basketball game you play. You can only score 37 points, right? Box within your weight class. Choose a phrase that you can win for. So what if this company says, oh, let's target beer? You're never going to rank for beer, right? The term beer, it's a difficulty of 79. The average of the authority of all the high-ranking pages is like in that range. They're at 37, that's a 79. Forget it, you're playing basketball, you're not going to win. How about this one? Chicago bars. Not looking good. It's a 48. Not likely to rank for that phrase. Choose a different phrase. Now, I'm not a fan of sports ball, but even I know that that'd be a very high-scoring baseball game. But you get the idea. Chicago bars or Chicago Beer Tour, difficulty 39. That is exactly in the range of this page. Did they have a chance of ranking for a phrase like Chicago Beer Tour? Absolutely. They ranked number 1 for Chicago Beer Tour. You get the idea. Make sense? Now all of you know how to evaluate the relative competition of different phrases, and how to choose phrases where you actually have a chance of ranking for any site that you're writing for. People often ask me, oh, I've got a domain authority of 30. Is that good or bad? Totally depends on what phrases you're targeting. There is no good or bad domain authority. There's only good and bad authority relative to the phrase you're targeting, right? You get the idea. Okay. By the way, when you create a page, you can link to yourself from other pages. If I wrote an article about puppy training, and my website was canineuniversity.com, I can search Google for that phrase on my site, search operator. Not only searching this website, canineuniversity.com space puppy training is going to show me all the pages on my site that use the phrase puppy training. Look, there's 72 pages that mention puppy training. If I write an article on puppy training, it goes live. This is what most bloggers do. When I write articles, I make sure to link to something else. Makes sense? Smart bloggers, when I write articles, I make sure to link to a service page. That's even better. Smart marketer. Here's what the great marketers do. When I write an article, I make sure to link to it from an old article. Very, very few marketers ever do that. But isn't that your job? Isn't that the point? Isn't that what we're here to do, is to drive traffic to this new piece of content we created? You're not done publishing a new piece of content until you have linked to it from an old piece of content. Make sense? Interconnected hubs. There's a tool in Moz that will actually show you, if you go to the top pages report, show you how much authority each of your pages has. This is only available in the paid tool, I apologize. But if you have a client or a company or a friend that has this, then you can see how much authority each of your other pages have. Links from these pages to a new page passes the most ranking potential, the most authority. Make sense? Yeah, you guys are with me, I know. There's a lot, good pace here, you're getting it, right? Totally on board. Question?
Yeah, is the only way you can check your authority is through mods?
Yes, domain authority is a mods metric. They made it up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
It's like-
new, sorry.
Yeah. Most people don't pay any attention to this stuff, so don't feel weird. Moz created this proxy metric by creating what they called, this tool, OpenSite Explorer, which is a brilliant piece of engineering. It visits every link on the internet. To simulate what Google's doing, understanding credibility and authority, they have to literally follow every link on the internet and try to compare, and it's a very complicated thing that they do. Very inexpensive tool when you think about it. So we're on to number 3. We did multiple topics, subtopics. Then we did multiple keywords, building up content around bodies of work, choosing phrases for which you have a chance of ranking. Then we're going to do multiple formats, which again a lot of people don't do. If you write an article, it does well. It's funny, my friend calls these unicorns. Every page is either a unicorn or a donkey. It got results or it didn't. So if you find a unicorn, your first job is to make baby unicorns. Go create other content on that topic, related topics, related formats. If it worked well as an article, as a long page about why dogs bark, time to move on and publish that in maybe an infographic or a diagram, or make a video about it, audio, video. Not everyone does this. Most marketers they're just bloggers. They just make another blog post. They don't publish things in other formats. My content strategy, my goal, once a quarter minimum, I need to make a new video. Once a quarter minimum, I'm making an infographic. So again, now we're going to publish in multiple formats. A great visual is both interesting and useful. That's the cutest cat on the internet. I've matched him up with Wikipedia to make a cat Wikipedia combo. The idea is that visuals can both have visual interest and explain something. This picture's trying to be like that. Or, simple, who doesn't love these? Just a meme. I don't know, man. What if I never find out who's a good boy? He really wants to know. It is a format that not everyone uses, and why wouldn't you, right? It's super powerful. The internet's very visual. Social is super visual. You can't skip it. I have a friend who did this and got huge results with it. 15 poisonous plants for cats and dogs. This got shared thousands of times. It has utility. It's useful. So I did a little guide. This is part of the book. I wrote this book about content chemistry, I called it, which is partly just repurposing this metaphor. This was a periodic table of content. If you did something that worked well as an article, then you break it up into maybe a presentation. You can make it a video. Combine that, take several posts and combine them into an article, or make it a page. What about publishing that as an ebook? Take small things and combine them into bigger formats of content. Or take a big thing and atomize it into smaller pieces of content. It's a guide for republishing. You found a unicorn, make baby unicorns. Now various creators. We're on to number 4. Collaborate with other people relentlessly. I am an enormous fan of this approach. So what we're trying to do is find people who are content creators. It's the 1% rule. 1% of people on the internet make content. Everybody else is just a consumer or a lurker. We call them lurkers. It's the 1% rule. So I'm looking for dog trainers. I don't just go to, this is a Twitter advanced search tool. There's lots of them. This one's called follower wonk. I don't just search for dog trainer. I add a word that indicates this person creates content. Because after all, I want a network of people who make stuff and increase the chance of someone linking to me. If I'm deliberately networking with bloggers, journalists, academic researchers, editors, anybody who makes content. So this is a beautiful way to make sure that you're collaborating with other people who might later mention you. So that's an idea. Now I know who they are. I'm going to put them on a list. I'm going to subscribe to their stuff. I'll share these slides. Or if you search for online networking guide, you'll find the article that has all these steps in it. I think I optimized it for that phrase. So we want to subscribe, we want to listen, we can set up alerts for them, maybe a TalkWalker alert, which is a simple way to get notified of any mention of anything on the internet. Make sure you set up a TalkWalker alert for your own brand, if you haven't yet. You get an email every time someone mentions you somewhere. Super, super useful. Add them if you don't have to use Google Plus you can use it just for research actually if you want. Follow them on Twitter. I also believe in adding people to lists. It's much easier to find them later. I have a list called Radar. Now we're going to engage with them, engaging with their content, especially commenting on their content. Super, super powerful way to get someone's attention. Even famous people read all of their comments. You can really connect with journalists and editors by just writing on these people's websites. Finally, now that we're visible to them, this is not creepy, hopefully not creepy, because we can begin to connect with them on these other networks that require approval, like LinkedIn or like in Facebook. Now we can endorse them, we can write recommendations. That's just so valuable. If you haven't done it in a while, I recommend that you just take a minute to write a recommendation for someone. It's just, it stays with them forever. They're going to be happy and grateful to you forever. It's really worth a lot, and a lot of people should do it much more. Now it does get creepy, because we can connect with them in many other places. These are all mini social networks that will make you visible to them if you connect with them. But I've done this slow enough that it's not weird. But you can connect with people on apps, or connect with people on, I'm building a network, basically. My goal is to have a network of people who create content that I can collaborate with. And I'll show you how I do it tonight. These two are super powerful because they are very hard to win and they're worth an awful lot. If that person's a podcaster and you write a review for them on iTunes, they will be so grateful. They're going to be so happy that you did that. The Amazon book review is the same thing. They're worth a lot and they're hard to win. So now you get to mention them and put them in your content. Or better yet, and I did this 4 times this morning. I'm writing this big research piece. We surveyed 1,000 bloggers. You guys know Ann Handley? Marketing Profs? You know Jay Baer?
Yeah.
Convincing Convert? You know Joe Polizzi? Content Marketing Institute? Those 3 and 3 other people, who else do I have on my list? Lee Odin from Top Rank, champion marketer. He's written books. Those 3 are all going to be included as quotes in my newsletter next week. Because I built them as part of my network and I reached out to them and asked them for a quote. I was emailing back and forth with Jay Baer this morning. That dude has like 1 million followers. He's a major celebrity. But people love to be interviewed. And now you're a journalist. That's the dynamic. That's what changed on the internet. You're all content creators. And your blog is an amazing networking tool. People wake up in the morning hoping to be interviewed. Why not give them that thing they want and improve your content at the same time by asking for a contributor quote to the next thing you publish? You can also include people in expert roundups. That's a very common format, very effective format. It still works really well. You just ask a bunch of people the same question and get their input. Oh, I don't have the slides in this. Or do a deep dive interview with one expert. Content optimized for search includes keywords. We all know that. Content optimized for social media includes people. There should be faces. There should be names. There should be links to others. There should be quotes from other people in your content. If you did not put other people in your content, you did not optimize it for social media. You can make that part of your editorial standards, right? This is how we write. We always get a contributor quote from an expert. What does that do? It makes your article better. What does that do? It makes it get more traffic. They're going to share it for you. That's called ego bait. Mention someone in your article and they're going to share it, trust me. And it's going to do something that doesn't show up in your analytics, but I highly recommend it. You're going to have more fun. It increases the fun. Fun levels go up. That's good. Fun's good. I really like collaborating with people. I'm such a big fan of that tactic. And I'm not exaggerating. The last thing I did before I left my office an hour ago was I did a Skype call with a friend I hadn't seen in 2 years. She's in Vancouver. She's got a content strategy company. I do a different call with a blogger or marketer somewhere in the world about once a week, every week without fail. Why wouldn't I? It's free. It's super powerful. Even though my target audience for business is just in Chicago, I need a giant network of people who make content, and I'll talk to people anywhere in the world. Why wouldn't I? The face-to-face meetings are powerful. Beer, coffee, and lunch are the big ones. Tonight, Cindy and I were just talking to some people that, hey, Andy, let's get together. There's probably 20 people, despite the base plugin, that will meet me in a bar. You're all welcome. 5:30. You should all come. 5:30 at Irving Park in Ashland. There's a bar called The Long Room. And a bunch of random marketers who all just reached out randomly over the last few weeks and asked me to get together. I just told them all to meet me there. You're all welcome to come. Handwritten thank you notes, though, are also that's a powerful tactic. That's the forgotten inbox. Again, you want to be in the top 1% of marketers? Trust me, no one else is doing it. Like a stamp. Get out, write a note and send it to someone. It's so hard to rise above the clutter. Not really. I know exactly how to rise above the clutter. I'm just going to send you a letter. Write a postcard. It works really well. I mean, they're gonna, 100% of people will read a note that you send to them. Someone writes you a LinkedIn recommendation, try that. You're gonna blow their mind. Send them a handwritten thank you note. Wow. So the idea, this is Leoden again, the idea is that you have once a quarter, you're focused on this topic. You know, you're building a hub, you got an anchor piece, you're writing thought leadership stuff or news. Next quarter you got an infographic you're making, you're building this up. But this stuff is not all created by you. It's created together with influencers. So what happens is there's two marketers. This is a marketer who went to a lesser university, and they're not here because they don't know the tricks we know. This is us over here on the right, we're in blue. Okay? Now we take the time to build up a network of content creators. Not just anybody, the 1%, the bloggers, editors, journalists, academic researchers, podcasters, event producers, people who make stuff. That's who we love most. They're different class of citizen on the internet almost. Now when we write something, we put people into it. Blogger A, just an article, right? Blogger B, we've got stuff, we got people in our article. Now we go share it, and they go share it. Who gets more shares? Who has a bigger reach? Should be very, very obvious. Because we engineered this content, it was constructed for that. I feel bad for these people, right? They're like sitting in their basement, they're clamming hands on the keyboard and like a pile of empty pizza boxes. They just keep blogging, publish that next one, gotta write something. Horrible. That's so boring. It's so lonely for them. An ally in creation is an ally in promotion. These people, these created the content with you. How do you get Jay Baer, Ann Handley, and Joe Polizzi to share your article? Put them in your article. They're all going to share it. Why wouldn't they? They will definitely share this thing. They're very excited about it. They know it's going to go live. Ask this question. How many people are waiting for your article to go live? That number should be greater than 0. That's a sad article. You know, your article really isn't built to be promoted if you did it alone and no one knows about it. Okay, lots of places. We're not at number 5. So we did topics, keywords, formats, collaborators, and places. Again, most people do not combine all 5 of these to build a hub of content. When we publish with lots of places, same thing. We're going to write for other websites. It's not just for us. Now in the early days, more dogs. In the early days, not that early, but one of my tactics for years was not to just write for my own site. In fact, I wrote for other people's websites. Not just a little bit, I wrote a lot. 2/3 of my articles I submitted to other websites for publication. Especially if you're a young brand, it might be better to have 90% of your articles go to some other website, some other brand. A byline article, a guest post, something for someone else, right? Because they have so much more audience than you. Really, it's, you know, write that cornerstone piece on your site first because you're going to be linking to it when you write for other places. But it's just not enough to just keep writing for yourself, especially if you're small. Here again, Blogger A, Blogger B. Blogger A writes 2 articles. Blogger B writes also SEO. These friends are going to improve social. Search and social. Build content built for promotion. Round 2. Blogger A, 4 articles on their website. Big deal. Blogger B has more content associated with the brand, has more links from other websites, and more friends. Now, this is a linear progression, so you know where this is going. Nice blog, buddy. This is what great web marketing looks like. Can you feel the difference? Who's going to rank higher next month? Who's going to get more social traffic next month? Who's going to have more fun while creating? Whose content is going to be higher quality? Yesterday, I met the guy years ago. I recommend his book all the time. It's called The Best Damn Marketing Checklist Ever. It's a great book. Every page is a different checklist. Tells you how to make better everything. Better email subject lines, better thank you pages. It's a fantastic book. Written by a guy named Stoney the Guider. Stoney's been doing SEO since the 1990s. This guy is amazing. So I've gotten to know him over the years, and he pitched us a guest post recently about why key phrase research tools are inaccurate. That's a great topic. This guy's like an OG. He knows SEO from way back then. So I wake up in the morning, go to my blog, open it up, and there's an amazing article on my site from Stoney. There's nothing better than learning from your own website. That's a good day. That's a good day. Get the idea? If you're not making puppies, if you're not making friends, you're doing it wrong. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about legit friendship. People you care about. People you want to help. People you would love to, right? People that you love to work with. I mean, it's a big difference. And all of the wonderful things that have ever happened to me in my marketing career all the places I've submitted to and been accepted by happen through this exact philosophy, this exact virtue, this belief in collaborative content, in giving value to others, in working with other content creators. These have led to presentations, and I probably wouldn't be in this room, there's no question. I would not be in this room had I not been so active in outreach and collaboration for those years. I'm very grateful. So here's an example. This is a lead generation hub. I wrote an article in how to dominate more dogs. This is how to dominate. You want to be the dog on top of this? We call it a diagram here. This dog diagram. That's going to be them down there. We're going to be up here on top there. Okay. So I write an article, and I make it the best article I can possibly make. And it's called Lead Generation Best Practices, or Lead Generation Websites, Lead Generation Best Practices. I'm actually targeting 2 key phrases here, the primary and secondary phrase. Google probably drops the punctuation. This is my formula for headline authoring, by the way. Look at my blog and you'll see I do topic, colon, number usually. But this would be like 6 website best practices. The key phrase is for search. The number is for social and click through. We can talk about headlines anytime. But this is, so I write this article, it tells you everything. It deconstructs every page in the process. It gives you a diagram for these pages, examples of what works, what doesn't. So this thing I've worked my butt off and thought about it for a long time and finally published everything I know about lead gen best practices. Hard to do. Working, literally trying to make the best page on the internet. That's the goal for an SEO. If you're not doing that, you're kind of a spammer. The goal for an SEO is to make the best page on the internet for the topic. Google's goal is to deliver the top 10 most relevant pages. Our goal is to make the most relevant page. If you didn't do that, you're just trying to trick a robot. That's not a virtuous goal in life, to try to trick robots. Try to make great content that people really care about, that helps people by answering the question from every angle. The most thorough, detailed, well-researched, intentioned article that you can possibly create. Then, I've moved into different formats. Here's an infographic. Here it is zoomed out, here it is zoomed in. It tells you everything I know about lead generation best practices. There's a strategy and branding piece, which you might do like every 5 to 10 years. The web design piece, which you might do every 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years. You start with the key phrase research, creating a site map. This is the content for the site. You do wireframes and mood boards and design and all this process. Then after that, you end up in this, which is an endless cycle of content marketing. Create content, promote content, measure, create, promote, measure, create, promote, measure, promote through web channels, search, social, email. Our audience is doing what? This is what the audience does. They become aware, they consider, they become interested, they take action. You got to lead, lose the loyalty, move afterwards. All this stuff is measurable again through analytics. So this is like the infographic that explains everything I know. Trying to put it all on one page. I did my alternate formats. Next, I go on tour. Here's the evil twin. Your lead generation pipeline is broken. 5 links to repair, or 5 leaks to repair. It's for an MVC. This is like a domain authority 85, big famous website, local website. So I'm in multiple places. And now I'm still on tour. Here I'm on Quora. Do you guys use Quora? You read this website? Just so addictive. It's all questions and answers. It's beautiful. It's a social network almost, but it's really just people asking questions and people writing super detailed answers. Here I am in Quora trying to answer every question. It's like, how is content marketing related to SEO? Here's an image from my post, right? SEO is a subset of content marketing. Search is one of the 3 main blah, blah, blah. Here's an image. You can see a breakdown of these aspects on this site, link, right? So by the time I'm done, and I worked for months on this thing, 74, according to the Search Console, 74 different websites have linked to my article. Put everything I put into it. That thing, to this day, these are old screenshots, we could look it up today. That thing gets around, I picked the wrong gate range, but in a month it'll get read about 500 times. Now that key phrase, lead generation website, is a phrase that people pay for in pay-per-click. Google, AdWords, right? If you want to buy that phrase, it'll cost you $45 per click. This is called the paid search equivalent. 500 page views a month from search, $45 a page view. I'm getting $22,000 in free traffic to one post by having built up that whole body of work, by having interconnected content, focusing on formats, places, collaborators, topics, and related key phrases, because there's a lot of other stuff that's closely connected to that. And today, actually, we should search for this. This was lead generation best practices. Does anyone have a laptop open?
Yep.
Search for lead generation website or lead generation best practices. My goal in life is to outrank HubSpot. Just kidding.
HubSpot's first. You're second.
Ah. Who's third?
Oracle.
I'm outranking Oracle.
Marketing.
I'm
Kissmetrics.
I'm outranking Kissmetrics. I'm a part-time marketer. I have 30 employees. I have to do a lot of management work. I have to do a lot of sales work. Marketing's a little more than half of my total time. I have one full-time marketer. Her name's Amanda. She's amazing. We have 1.5 marketers, and we are outranking Oracle.
And Optimizely.
And Optimizely. These companies have giant budgets and big teams. That's possible because I am more persistent, I'm more structured, I'm working harder and longer on a phrase that I care about that they're kind of like not really paying that much attention to. It is totally possible to box outside your weight class and to win even when you don't have the authority, and to beat sites that are much more credible than you if you just build up a hub of content focused on alternate formats, alternate collaborators, alternate locations, alternate keywords, and alternate subtopics. Another way to put that, I love this Nick Offerman quote, never half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing. That's the goal. That's the point. Very few marketers do that. Most marketers kind of spread out. They're kind of like, oh, what about that? Maybe I'll write something about that today. What's our publishing calendar? What are we focused on this month? How can we go bigger than everybody else on the internet on this topic? It's not by accident. Quality happens because you are dedicated, because you cared about it that much. So most people just don't do it.
Oh, don't put that back.
That's it. Oh, you like that? You're right. That's a way better final slide. That should be the final slide for everything.